Hello everyone, I'm Luis from Mexico and today we're gonna talk about our program called Go. So what's the problematic here? The problem with these stores is that when the refrigerator doesn't work or when a product is out of stock, the owner won't know. Or for example, when the owner is arranging the things, he won't remember where to put them. So Go look for a way to solve this problem. Our system consists of a microcontroller Arduino with a temperature and humidity sensor showing up into the LCD, and then a PIR motion sensor connected with an LED. Okay, this microcontroller is gonna have a serial communication with the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is gonna be attached with a camera for face recognition with OpenCV, and it's going to store the values, or it's going to store the data of the microcontroller into MariaDB. Now, the reason why we need Raspberry Pi, it's because it's easier to install OpenCV into this device, and it also can attach cameras. So to install it, I follow the following tutorial on the link, and you should be careful to install the correct version. The tutorial tells you how to do it, and this is the proof that I already built it on my Raspberry Pi. Now we're gonna talk about the sensors that we use. So basically we have the PIR motion sensor. It's commonly used for security systems, and it can detect the movement of a human or any movement object. We don't need to add any libraries, and the basic code for this sensor is on the following website. On the system, we had a DHT temperature and humidity sensor. We need to get the information from that sensor and to display it in a screen. So since we cannot have a computer running all the day, we're gonna use a LCD screen, and we will obtain the temperature and the humidity from this sensor. For this sensor, you will need the following libraries. What we did in our project is to connect the PIR motion sensor and the DHT22 sensor all together in the same code, so it can display in the LCD the temperature, the humidity, and whether it happens or not, a movement. Or this code is available on our account on GitHub, so you can follow the link. This code is already uploaded on our repository on GitHub. Now we have the information. Now we need a way to transport this information to the Raspberry Pi. And the way to do that is doing a serial communication between the Arduino and the Raspberry Pi. We follow the next tutorial. Now the libraries that you need to install in your systems, you're gonna be serial, the library serial. On the screen we can see the operative system of Raspberry Pi obtaining information from the Arduino device. Here we have the humidity, the temperature, and the movement. Now that we collect the data, we need a way to store the data. So that's why we're gonna use a database called MariaDB. You can install MariaDB on your desktop or on your Raspberry Pi. I provide both links. You can follow along these links. And then we have to install the library PyMySQL because this server is connected to MySQL. So I create a database using the following command, and I show the tables here. As you can see, we don't have any table related to the sensors. So what I did is create a table if it didn't exist. So we have the submission date, when the record started. Then we're gonna have the temperature in float, the humidity in integer, and the wave, it's gonna come out with a boolean value. So after you can see that doing this command, we're gonna have the table already. Now if we describe the table, we can see the fields. here. Now we're gonna come up to the part of recording data. In here you have to define the host, the user, the password, the name of the database, and the name of your board. This should be declared on the main function. As you can see here, we're on the program and it was successful. Then we are talking about the UI and the face detection. For the UI, we use the key enter to create it. And as you can see in the image, it can detect my face. And later on, it's gonna store the value of temperature, humidity, and the ultrasonic wave. That's gonna be the PIR information, movement information. There is also a project for that we could connect the PIR motion sensor with the temperature sensor displayed on a LCD, and it was able to recognize when I did a movement. For example, we can see that the light is off when I'm taking the ramen from here, and after lighting up, it shows up a message of motion on the LCD, and it will also record it. So here, as you can see, it's detecting that I'm a human, and we have the values here stored. And we have the values here: the data time, the humidity, the temperature, and where if it's true or not that there was movement. And as we can see on the database, if we do the following command, we can see that it did record information from the sensors on the database. Basically, this was all our presentation. I hope you like it. And here we provide the following repository. Thank you for your attention.